I mean, it starts with me, right? Like the same mentality that I had to become one of the, to become really good in football.
No, you can say one of the best, man. Come on, you got all these damn records. See. Here's what we not gonna do. We don't need all this humble shit. Yeah, man. Let that go. It's you are defining it. Folks need to know man. You earned it.
All right, well,
you earned it. You're not talking. Ain't no fluff here. Ain't no look. Go ahead. Yeah, shut it down. As how you became one of the best football players ever. Go ahead. One, my brother Brandon, thank you so much. One, for squeezing us in. I know how busy you are. You got to be the hardest working brother I've ever seen in my life. Fresh off the plane, you're flying in, knocking stuff out. So I am honored. I'm grateful for you to spend some time. And honestly, I want to dive right into it because I know you got a lot going. You got to run and do some other stuff. So
I mean, it's a no-brainer though. I mean, someone like you creating this platform and giving us this opportunity to have these type of conversations. So I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to come.
Man, I'm honored by that statement as well. I am, man, I want to dive right into something I'm personally curious about.
Yep.
Your work ethic, man. Yeah, your work ethic is incredible. We know you've had an amazing career as an athlete.
Yep.
Now embarking on an amazing career as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a media mogul. Just let us know what's your average day, man.
Ooh,
give me a rundown, because I swear you still be in the gym. You doing rehab. I see everything, because I stalk your gram, so I'm looking at everything. I'm like, this brother's in cold pools. You got the chefs going.
Yep.
You eating clean food. You still got abs. I mean, this shit is incredible. Like,
I got about 3 abs left.
Well, that's 3 more than me.
I'm big on time blocking.
Okay.
As an athlete, as you guys know, at West Point, and in both sides at West Point, they give us the itinerary. They tell us where to go, when to be there, how to show up, right?
Yeah.
Same in sports. Like they since I was 6 years old, someone always told me what I should be doing and when I should be there. That was probably the hardest transition for me post-career. When I retired. I wouldn't even say retired. The game was taken away from me. I was one of those guys who wanted to hold on a little bit. Was trying to figure out my schedule. Like now, for the very first time in my life, I had to figure out my schedule. Now in business, even emails. Like, damn, this is what business. I got to check emails.
A lot,
right?
Of them.
Yeah, a lot of emails. So I had to time block that. So for me, I'm big on time blocking. Every day I wake up around 4:30 to get ready for my 5 a.m. production meeting on Fox. First things first, FS1, and we'll probably do that. We'll be on our production call from 5 to 5:30, and then showtime is at 7:30. So 7:30, 9:30, 2 hours show, and in between time, I'm preparing for the show.
Wow.
And then right after that, I'll get off every once in a while. I mean, it depends on the day, Every Tuesday at 9:45, so 9:30, we jump on a post-production call. And then at 9:45 on a Tuesday, I have my once a week financial call with my financial team.
Okay.
Right? And that's just 20 minutes and just update going through our P&L. Mondays, for the most part, 9:30 to 10 o'clock is pretty open for me, where I'm just kind of debriefing and taking a
9:30 to 10 o'clock. That 30 minutes is that's your window.
That's just me by myself. Yes.
Oh, that's peace
my
time.
Window.
Wow.
Well,
30 minutes.
it's larger than that. It's bigger than that. But that's just me by myself, right?
Okay.
Sitting in my studio, just doing what I need to do.
Wow.
But from 10 to 12, I block that off every single day for my personal time. So that's when you see me jumping in the cold tub or whatever.
Okay.
I got to get it in. I got to work out.
Okay.
And it's less physical. It's more mental. Like I truly believe, and that's what House of Athlete is. Like I try to teach the fundamentals of health, and the first pillar is train, and I just truly believe, like, a lot of us may struggle mentally because we're not moving, because we're not healthy, and we're not doing the things we need to do. So I block that time off, and then once noon hit, man, it's it's over. It's meetings back to back to back.
Okay.
You know, I'm meeting with our team, and I'm in a nice cycle with, you know, our president, our CMO, you know, this person, that person, you know. So I do a great job of that. And now I'm getting into this routine of, you know, really shutting off and putting a, you know, for the past 2 years since I've been done playing ball, it's just been going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So now I'm doing a better job of shutting off at 5.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And getting home for dinner and doing those things. But
family time.
Family time. But here's the thing, man. Like, you know, damn, we jumping right in.
Say we
you
go
know,
hit
tough
it.
on the marriage, tough on the relationship. But to be honest with you, bro, like I just feel like that's what it took. You know,
Got it.
It took that. You know, sleeping in the facility, sleeping in the office, trying to figure it out, learning.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't notice. I went to school for football.
Yeah.
That's what I went to school for.
Yeah.
You know, I'm savvy. You got some street smarts. Read a lot of books. So I had to figure this stuff out. I had to take an online online course, hire an executive coach, learn what a CRM was, learn about e-commerce. What the hell is a KPI metric? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about emails. That was the biggest shocker for me. Like, this is that's business? Is checking emails? So, you know, it was rough on me and it was rough on my interpersonal relationships. But you know what? That's what it took, you know, and now we're in a better place to be able to do much more for more people.
Man, I have so much respect for you because your work ethic. And I think, you know, what I found is people that are peak athletes, right, and professionals and ascend to greatness in one thing tend to be great at a lot of things,
Right.
because of that discipline. So you've highlighted, hey, you're incredibly disciplined. The fact that you are time blocking, because that's something I've struggled with,
Yeah.
right, is going out, to your point. For so much of my career and my upbringing, I was told what to do.
Right.
And so I did well because I did what I was told to do.
That's right. That's right.
It was actually very simple for me.
That's right.
Like, you're telling me what it is to get an A? There's no excuse for me to not get an A in school. Coach is telling me to do this, read my keys. I'm going to read my keys. I'm going to do that. Study this book. It was very organized and structured for me. So that freedom of entrepreneurship was tough, but you built up this discipline and mastery in your professional career and athletic career, and then you took that to business. But the thing that I noticed about you in our first interaction is you're a student of everything.
Yeah.
And so did that happen was it because of football? Were you the film guy? Were you like always studying film? Because I swear, I mean, you study, like you said, you're taking courses.
Yeah.
You're studying product development, and you want to know every aspect of it, of your supply chain.
That's right.
You're not just coming in, oh, I'm at the top, I can fund stuff. You're going deep down to learn the process. Where does that come from?
Yeah, you know, I think that's more so just my makeup.
Okay.
Just something that's just in me. In sports, I grew into a student of the game, watching film, you know, second half of my career, understanding defensive coordinators, schemes, and all of that.
Yeah.
But in business, I mean, it's simple for me. I started, you know, probably like most people, and it's like, hey, I'm going to hire my friend, I'm going to hire this person, and you go do it. You figure it out. And got my ass kicked.
Like we all do.
Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I was like, you know what? I need to know what I'm talking about. I need to know what's going on. So for me, and that's it, even, you know, I go back to when I was playing, you know, I was like, you know, when I'm sitting in these meetings, I need to know enough about all of this stuff, right? But the cool thing about the business I'm in, you know, I love it. So it's like, it's not just work. Like, I actually love learning about the wellness industry.
Yeah.
You know, but I study and, you know, online courses, executive coaches, read a lot of books. And, you know, it's helping me a lot. So I hired this lady, came from huge company.
Yeah.
And sitting in, and we were like, all right, let's put our goals down for the year.
Okay.
KPIs and metrics. She didn't know I took an online course, right? Like, I took this online course understanding everything we need from e-commerce, just the fundamentals, basics, right?
Yeah.
Just to get us to 0 to 1 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Start and scale. And so I'm like, all right, how much traffic do we need to drive to the website? What does the conversion need to be? Like 1%. 1%. Well, good is 3%.
Oh, you ate her up.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? So that's where it comes into play.
Yeah.
And when you have those moments and those meetings where it's like, you know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it just empowers you, and it just gives you the confidence to keep learning and keep going.
Yeah.
But now I'm at a phase now where I'm like, you know what? I have to make sure that I am surrounding myself with experts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we hear people say it all the time, like, surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. Don't be the smartest person in the room. But it's hard, you know, early on in this world where when you're trying to build something and trying to figure out how to build your team. That's the hardest thing.
I think it's interesting because, I mean, you're hitting on some things where, you know, it's easy to get taken advantage of in this game.
Yeah.
Right. In business. And some of the downfall of a lot of founders is actually getting funded too soon. So you get funded, and then all of a sudden you have money and people are taking advantage and you're burning it quicker.
Wow.
And I think, you know, you're quote unquote a bootstrapped, you know, entrepreneur, right, to this day, where you've self-invested in all your businesses. But I think the discipline that you have to ensure that you don't get taken advantage of is incredible. So I have to tip my hat to you on that one, to not let that get to you, because you have it, but you're still wanting to know, and you want to get the best value.
Yeah.
And that's why your business is thriving the way it is.
That's right.
So one of the things that then I have to have you dive into, just give us an overview of this empire that you're building is really the best way for me to describe it, because it's amazing, right? So if you could just talk about House of Athlete and just share what your vision is, right, and what you're putting together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's simple. That the thought that I'm working off of is athletes were the healthiest people on the planet. So more people should adopt our lifestyle. $4.3 trillion industry.
Well, there's that.
Yeah. That's I mean, think about it. I mean, there's people that have done it and done it at a high level. Obviously, the you know, Nikes of the world, the Gatorades of the world. But when you think about training and boutique fitness, we don't train at. I love all these places. I've been to them, studying them, and also just a consumer. But SoulCycle, when you were training for your season at West Point, you weren't at a SoulCycle or Barry's Boot Camp or Orange Theory. No, you were in the grass. You were lifting weights, right? You're getting after it. Yeah. So when you think about, you know, how we transform our bodies in a month, 2 months, 3 months, how we eat, how we sleep, you know, how we're mentally fit. Yeah. You know, how do you package all that up, and then you give the general population access to that? These are the things that we had access to our entire life, you know? So that's House of Athlete, is teaching the fundamentals of what it takes, you know? So that but we're in 4 different industries: brick and mortar, boutique fitness, supplements, apparel, and then also media. So brick and mortar, you know, digital space booming, awesome. Yep. You know, we will participate there down the line. We'll phase that in. But again, accountability, tribe, team, community. Yeah. You know, that's how we train. That's how athletes train. That's why brick and mortar is key to me. That's why in the middle of the pandemic, everybody's going digital. I said, the hell with that. I'm doubling down on our vision. Wow. Right? Wow. So when all this clear up, I feel like there's going to be, you know, more opportunities for us, because this is the athlete way.
Shout out to Florida for being open. I mean, you know,
facts. It definitely made it easier.
Yeah.
Right.
Shout out
like
to
if
them
we were
for that
anywhere
one.
else, I mean, yeah, I don't even know if it can get any harder. I mean, I don't even know how so many entrepreneurs and people survived in that pandemic, man. That's a whole nother podcast, a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that you were able to thrive at it, though. That's the model.
Unbelievable. I mean, just every minute things are changing and shifting. So that, and then the supplements, right? Like, ideally we want to get all of our macros and micros through food, but it's impossible. That's why we got into supplements. That's what we do. What do they beat in our head when we come off the field? Hey, you got 30 minutes to get this protein in. Right? So for me, I just felt bad because we were results driven. People coming in saying, I want to lose weight, I want to get in shape, I want to bulk up, I want to lean out, and we not have the conversation around nutrition. Yeah. I felt like we were doing our athletes a disservice. So that's where the supplements came in apparel. I just stumbled across that, to be honest with you. Everybody wanted the swagger. They were enjoying the brand. And I came out here to LA and I was doing some white labeling stuff. And then my wife came and she's like, what the hell are you doing? This ain't dope. This ain't great. This is not it. And she took over and just took it to a whole nother level.
And she's killing it.
Yeah, she's doing great.
Killing it.
Yeah,
The
she's
amazing.
phenomenal. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean the latest collection. I want to touch on the latest collection and what you're doing with mental health, because I had to message you on it. I was like, man, this is why I had to go and put my order in.
Yeah, I appreciate the support. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
No, thank you. And
so merch, and then what else?
And the last thing is media. And to be honest with you, very strategic, thought out plan when it comes to the wellness space and House of Athlete.
Yeah.
But when it comes to media, I stumbled across that. I was one of the. I'll say it. It's like doesn't seem humble, but
no, flex.
I was
man.
the first active athlete to do full-time broadcasting. And so like what I realized is, and we had a nice plan in place where I would travel around and meet with, the who's who at Showtime and HBO and Fox and ESPN. And what I realized, like, man, there's going to be an opportunity one day to be behind the camera. So I had this idea of a production company, but I don't know anything about production.
Yeah.
So the pandemic hit. I just spent like $50,000 on equipment, similar stuff that you guys have here. I had a creative team.
You got some better equipment than we got. I've seen some of yours, but
we got some cool stuff.
I appreciate it.
We got some cool stuff.
Yeah.
We were balling on a budget, but I had all this stuff, and then at the beginning of the pandemic, everything shut down, and I had this team, and we had this equipment, and I kept everybody together. So we didn't let anybody go. We just kept rocking and rolling. So I was like, all right, how do we pivot? And I said, well, I got all these pro athletes in my neighborhood or right next door.
Yeah.
And I have this facility as a studio, so let's just start this. And the only idea I had was, to sell a show.
Okay.
Because when you at the beginning of the pandemic, you turn on ESPN or Fox or anything, everybody was shooting from home.
Yeah.
Right? And on Zoom and on, phones and computers. So anyways, we started it. And there was like 50 people watching live.
Wow.
And that was a whole nother conversation as well. Because as an athlete balling, I can post something, me catching the ball. I can catch me scoring a touchdown or walking into the stadium, 100,000 likes, millions of views, right? So you're there, and then when it's taken away from you, you're done playing ball. Now you're trying to start something else. Ooh. You got to rebrand, and you got to go back to the valley with that mentality. Like, no, I got to hustle, I got to grind to get back there,
and do it for the love,
right?
Because you're a passion guy.
Right.
Like every time I've interacted with you, everything that I see from you, you're passion.
Yeah.
Like you do stuff for the love.
Right.
So what is it that you love? What's your passion? What's your purpose?
Yeah.
Personally, outside of business, right? Outside of learning, because I think you're a lifelong learner and something I really respect. And you're hard work. But what's driving you? What's keeping you going? Because you could sit and chill.
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to do anything.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, did well in football, and my wife and I, we did a great job of taking care of our money. We made a few small mistakes here and there, but for the most part, we retired the way we wanted to. Just one thing, to raise awareness for the mental health community.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's my entire purpose.
Yeah.
Like I feel like why am I here? And that's to be one of the faces and voices for the mental health community. I really truly believe that's our purpose on this planet, and that's what even House of Athlete is.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And tied in, because you guys have, I saw the sweatshirt. I'm sure I know there's a whole collection, but it was amazing. Could you just shed a little light on on the apparel and just even how that's connecting the dots and what you guys are doing through that?
Yeah, so
I had to rock my green for you, by the way, today.
It. Thank you.
It was the only green I had. I had to come with something, man.
No, I appreciate it. So Mishi and the team dropped a capsule collection for Mental Health Awareness Month. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the color that represents mental health awareness is lime green, so that's where you see the lime green there. But back in 2011, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I spent 3 months at McLean Hospital in the outpatient program. Wow. And that's when I first realized that, damn, I wasn't here to play football. It was something bigger. And ever since then, we've been pounding the pavement trying to do what Live Strong and Lance Armstrong did in the cancer community. 36 million Americans personally affected by cancer.
Yeah.
But when you think about mental health, there's 100 million Americans personally affected by that. And for every one, it touches 6 to 8. It's down. Was it 320 million Americans? So Everybody. It touches all of us, right? Yeah. So for years, we've been trying to figure out how do we, ignite this conversation, and then also, have the resources needed to help people. Like when I was at McLean Hospital, it cost me $36,000 a month to get the help I needed to change my life, to save my life, save my career, save my marriage. Wow. And then that was one. There's 2 hospitals like that in America, that can, really help people that's dealing with certain things. So, yeah, man, people need help, and we're just excited to be in a position now to be able to do those things. Because back in the day, we were trying to leverage our football deals, like with the Under Armours, the Nikes of the world, to create products, to revenue share. And then it got to a point we get been told no, and I said, can I curse on your show?
Yeah, man, you do whatever you want.
I ain't gonna
It's
curse.
America.
All right. I was like, man, the hell with this. Let's go create our own businesses, make our own money, and we'll use our money to give back. So the number I have in mind is $400 million back to the mental health community through House of Athlete, and so like this type of stuff, right? Wow. Part of the proceeds are going to go back to NatCon, and Mishi just did a phenomenal job of really putting a collection together that made sense. And I mean, it's a light statement, but it's a big statement where it's, it says on the shirt, ask me how I'm doing. No, ask me how I'm really doing.
Yeah,
right?
I loved it. I love that. And people don't do that, right? Everything is so casual, so flippant. But I mean, man, I think I'm so blown away by how clear your thread is. And I think so many of us struggle with that. And I think you've established such simple principles for yourself, right? Of discipline and your operating model of how you move. But then what your North Star is, and everything then connects to that.
Right. And
I think that's a big part of how you're able to handle the breadth of what you're doing, because there's so much synergy.
That's right.
And again, man, I think that is wise beyond your years and things that I think folks work their entire lives at. Yeah. And your process of one, how you've gone to better yourself, but continue to maintain a standard of greatness.
Right.
Like that's just unreal. I have to get into your wife because she's amazing.
Thank you so much.
How you're balancing, you got some beautiful kids, man.
Yep.
You got a wife that's just involved in the business. I mean, so now you guys are both entrepreneurs. What's that like?
Oh, it's hell. It's hell for us. And I mean, I'm in an interesting space now where I feel
already leaked that you're a workworkaholic too, Bev. So,
I know.
We got that.
That was therapeutic for her. But we keep it real. because we feel like, us being organic and real, a lot of people will learn from our story. We're an open book for the most part. I mean, it starts with me, right? Like the same mentality that I had to become one of the, to become really good in football.
No, you can say one of the best, man. Come on, you got all these damn records. See. Here's what we're not gonna do. We'll need all this humble shit. Yeah, man. Let that go. It's you are defining it. Folks need to know it, man. You earned it.
All right, well,
you earned it. You're not talking. There ain't no fluff here. Ain't no look. Go ahead. Yeah,
right,
shut it down. As how you became one of the best football players ever.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like that. I mean, because that was the goal.
The records support it. So yeah, go ahead.
So you funny, man. So like, I mean, I just remember this level of detail and attention every single day since I was, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And, I knew it, grew up in Pittsburgh, sitting down watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play in the playoffs, or sitting down watching the Super Bowl with my mom. Every Super Bowl had sit me and my older brother down. She'll cook us a steak, potatoes, and we would just, that was our thing. And I remember when I was 7, I was like, Mom, I didn't even say I'm gonna play in the NFL. I said, Mom, damn, like why is Barry Foster, like he's only getting 2 yards. I can do that right now. She looked at me and was like, shut up, you're 7. Right? So, but like I had this like this vision and this like passion and this desire to be great.
Yeah.
And I did that every single day, and there's so many stories from little league through high school to college. And when the game was taken away from me, when I stopped playing, I say take away from me because I was cut, like most of us, right? 2018, Sean Payton came in the room playing for the New Orleans Saints. She's like, yo, we're going to cut you. And I was like, damn, it's over. 13 years.
You had a hell of a backup plan already ready, though.
Right.
I saw that interview where you were getting the coach and everything to get ready for broadcasting.
That's right.
That was an amazing interview.
Appreciate that. And so I jumped right into business, and I took that same mentality. I said, I already have the playbook.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do what I did to become the best football player for that I could be, and I'm gonna do that in business. But I never had that mentality as a husband. Like it.
Wow.
What I mean, like I got my wife.
Yeah.
She's dope. She's amazing. She's beautiful. I love her. All those things. But there's you got to be intentional.
Yeah.
And it's not just, here's date night, so I think that's where I'm at right now. My mindset shift is like when I wake up now, it's like, how do I how do I be the best husband today? How do I make her happy today?
Wow.
Right? Wow. So, I mean, this is like, we're talking about a couple of months. Like, shit's been hard for 2 years for us, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Like, I can wake up every single day and read a damn book about e-commerce, read a damn book about leadership, read a damn book, learn all these things. Like, I don't know anything I don't know any of this. Wow. But why am I not putting that same energy into my wife, right? So, and it's not big. We're not talking about like, we didn't travel to south of France. We didn't did all of that. She, we've done well with our money, so we've been able to buy some of the finer things and, do those cool things. But like, we're talking about sitting home in the night right here in the fire, having a drink and be like, baby, how are you doing?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then like really listening. What do you want to do? What are your dreams? What are you trying to accomplish? Right? Because like in football and even in business, it's like you tired as hell at the end of the day, and then you give them leftovers.
So, let me. I have a follow up on this. Right? Is it? Are you goal oriented? Like, is there
for sure?
Yeah. Is there an end in mind with things?
Yeah, for sure.
So I imagine then that's you're now entering in these spaces where there's there's no Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. There's no championship.
That's right.
Right. Like in business, it's uncapped for you. Right. Yeah. Like you're gonna keep going and keep growing and. Your marriage and your relationship, and as a father, as a husband, you're just continuously improving.
Yeah.
Is that shift? Was it difficult? Like where? Yeah, I don't know. Just
I'm in that right now.
Okay.
I'm in that right now. Like Mish came to me a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "I feel like you need to talk to someone." Like I have an executive coach.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about that today, where. Talking about my marriage and talking about business, it's like it's easy in business because like it's all about the experience. Like, I don't give a damn about the money. I just feel like when I walked up today and you were, I asked you about the podcast and I was like, do you plan on monetizing this? And there's business is big. I was like, I just want to have great conversations and give back. Yeah. This is my why behind it, and that's how I feel in business and everything I do. Is if you do good, eventually you'll get good, right? Yeah. And like I always think about the experience first, and I don't care. Like it's like, what does it cost to make sure that this athlete, and everybody in my mind is an athlete, this athlete have the dopest experience and they get the results they're looking for. So that's easy. But in like marriage, I'm still in like this. I was in this like transaction mode where it was like. We're talking about agape love, unconditional. Yeah. Just do. I don't care. Like, you're good, you're bad, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just had that conversation earlier, and like I was saying, like, I'm still working through that, right? Like, You know,
That's
like
deep.
I'm in this like transformation right now where my mindset, where it's for so long it was always what's next. You know, I chopping the goals down because you're so right, bro. It's like I just clear vision, clear goals, and now, you know, it's about just being. And like what I was saying earlier, like Mish came to me a couple weeks ago. It's like, I think you need to talk to somebody outside your executive coach, and you need to deal with the transition out of football. And it's been 2 years.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, like, you got to think, even you guys, like West Point and playing ball there and everything you guys accomplished there on the field, off the field, you know, we're part of the 1%. And we have this mentality that, like, we have the playbook.
Yeah.
We know what it takes. We know the routine. We know the perseverance. We picked up life skills that you can't pick up anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's just what football does in that environment. I can't even imagine the environment that you were in. But then we start entering into these relationships and in business and expecting that the other, like everybody else, is going to think and feel the same way we feel.
Yeah.
Well, we were the 1%, you know, as far as that mentality and being pushed. You know what I mean? So, like, I can walk into the meeting room, like, like I walk in, like, in some of our team meetings, like, this ain't it. This ain't champ. I literally use the same, like, we can't win a championship like this. Like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Do your Bill Belichick. Do your job.
Yeah.
And sometimes Mish be looking at me like, nah, bro.
Man, it's so crazy because as like I'm listening to you, and this is something I struggle with, especially early on in my entrepreneurial career.
Yeah.
Right. I'll specifically say because I'm an A-type personality, right? You're an A-type personality. I'm an extremist.
Yep.
Is one of the things I have to watch, right? So I set a goal, I'm gonna go all in, right? Like, it is what it is. I'm gonna knock it down. It doesn't matter. And from entrepreneurship, what I realized is there's a lot of variables that you can't control. And I had to fall in love with the process of it. Like, I had to fall in love with the game.
Yeah.
And it took me years. It probably took me 5 years to fall in love with the game. And as I'm listening to you, you know, even about marriage, because again, it's like, it's not an achievement, right? It's not there's no end goal. It's really just loving the process of it and continuing to feed and nurture it.
That's right.
And to hear you talk about that is, man, is incredible. And definitely something I aspire to be and do. So again, had it off. I mean, wow, that's a whole segment in itself of being, you know, a mogul, a hard charger, an athlete, and balancing that with a strong partner, right, who's involved in the business and just managing that process. So I'm almost curious, like, where did that epiphany come from?
Yeah.
Like was that through the coaching? Like, was that through people that you were talking with, or was it you just sitting down and looking like, damn, I could do better?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like you're that kind of person.
I'm that type of guy where I'm always going to look in the mirror, right? So I'm always going to fight. I'm never going to give up. Yeah. But, you know, like, all the big moments in my life, really, I mean, since my adult life, pretty much charged from my wife. So, like, when my wife, she ain't happy and she looking at me like, nah, this ain't it. It's like, all right, what I'm going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, the big picture for me goal is, like, I got my wife, my children. Like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't always express that, but it's now, you know, they're there. Now I got to go get this.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, that's it's always been, you know, my wife always pushing me forward.
Cool.
You know, so that I think, you know, the thought is always there and the vision, the goal, but she makes me stronger, she makes me better, and she holds me accountable. But it's what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what I want. I mean, for me, like, I feel like a monster when home's good. I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, when I listen to you and have observed, when you set your mind on something, it's gonna get done.
Right.
Like, so if you say you're gonna be great at something, I fully believe you're gonna be great at it. So whether that is in your marriage, if it's in business, I'm not betting against you. You know, I can tell you that much. So
Right.
So shit. Shout out to y'all on that one. So I mean, look, I definitely don't want to hold you.
No,
too late. I want to
I
know.
don't want to hold you. I love this.
No, well, look, we can keep going, but I want to know what's next.
Yep.
Right. I mean, as you're setting off and you're in this venture and you guys have been crushing it. The show is, I mean, your podcast goals, right? I mean,
appreciate
y'all
that.
had me crack it up all the time. I'm like, damn,
Right.
I got to get a crew. This one got a different tone, but I'm like, hell, this is I just absolutely love it, man. Your co-host, the camaraderie.
Right.
I think how you guys have been able to break down the game that you guys played in, but what comes with that? What comes with success? There's such a dosage of realness that I think folks don't realize. You guys are professional athletes and legends and looked at as heroes, and sometimes probably not human,
Right.
in a way. And I think bringing the humanity into it is what I love about the show, right? And I wear this shirt just for Venture Noir, about normalizing Black excellence, right? Like bringing the humanity back into us. Like we're people, right? Like and there's love. So, for you, what's next? Like for you, just personally, right? Because the business is going to be great, and you can talk about the business and what's next for that. But what's next for you? What's your other goals?
That's big. I really that's it, man. Like I'm really simple.
Okay.
Business that's purpose driven, and really, and like I said, in this shift in my life now of just, I've always had the priorities, or thought I had the priorities, but making sure the priorities are the priorities. So I want to make sure. I read this book. I don't know if you ever read the book One Thing.
No.
It's great. You read the book One Thing? Phenomenal. I mean,
Shout out
it's
to
phenomenal.
Scott Wesley for knowing the books. Look, he reads more. I'm more of a skimmer.
Really? I'm a skimmer.
I'm a conceptual learner. So
Right.
tell me about it so I can act like I read the book. I'll buy it and put it downstairs.
You will enjoy this one.
Okay.
You will.
I'm gonna get the
enjoy
Cliff
this one.
Notes right now. Break it down.
Right. Yeah. So, it's people like us that's driven, passionate about what we do. We have to figure out, like, damn, I'm on this balance. I mean, really, what is balance, right?
Yeah.
But
Rhythm.
but
That's
we
what I
all
call it.
talk about it is, like balance. How do you manage work, life, and all of these things? And there was this one part in the book where he talks about, your personal life being a glass ball, and business being a rubber ball. You can drop that and it's going to bounce back up, right? You can start a business, scale a business, sell a business, start a business, scale a business, lose a business.
Yeah.
And then you can keep going. You can always figure it out. In your personal life, you can drop that, boom, get a little nick, get a little scratch, boom. And then eventually it's going to break and it's going to be in pieces where you can't put it back together.
Wow.
Right? So that's even the time, and that's where it helped me when I said that the toughest thing for me in the transition out of ball was putting my routine together. So that's why I say use the word time blocking.
Yeah.
I learned that from this book. I was like, damn, I read this, like I got it.
Yeah.
Because that was the toughest thing for me. I'm like, damn, when do I check my emails? When do I, have my meetings with my team?
Yeah.
So it breaks it down of how to do that, so that's where I'm at right now. Is business is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because it's not even about like the success we're having, the attention, or how big the industry is. It's because like we're helping people.
Yeah.
People are coming in and they're feeling good. So I guess for me, I mean, we can talk about business because there's like 1,000 things. That's what next, and then on the personal side, it's just making sure that I'm being. As an athlete, we're always doing. I want to be here and just connected.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's a word.
Yeah.
That's
but I don't want to get it twisted though.
Yeah.
Like, cause like, I don't want to come off as this yogi or this, this Zen person, cause I'm not, like, and I think this is the challenge in this space when you're trying to this work-life balance thing. because I'm still a lion,
all day.
right? And sometimes like we try to be these sheep, and it's like it just never
you'll
works.
never be a sheep. No, that's never a good thing. I think, man, like what I love about it is, see, I hate balance. I don't like, because I'm an extremist, so it actually never makes sense for me.
Right.
Right, like people tell me balance, I'm like, what? I don't even know what to do with that.
Right.
There's nothing about, like, maybe I'm symmetrical, you know what I mean? Like, sure, you know, my arms and my calves are the same size type shit, but that's about all I get. I'm more of I'm a rhythm guy, right? And I think what I'm hearing with you is like you're finding your rhythm, and you have this rhythm in your flow. But what I think is interesting, right, is shout out to one of my brothers, man, Keenan. Keenan always talks to me, right, from a martial arts status, right? And it was like, you know, what's your K1? Like, what's your indefensible position? And I think for you, your indefensible position, right, is your discipline, right, and your demeanor. And I think there's such a lesson in that for any of us that are going through transitions, especially, because that's when stuff is really hard, right? When you're going from one thing that you're used to and your sense of normalcy, and you're transitioning to something else.
That's right.
So that can be, you know, I have a lot of my military, you know, brothers and sisters that are transitioning into corporate. Big step, right? Foreign land, new, right? A lot of anxiety. Go back to their discipline, right? I think is a word that they could hear from you. You know, folks that are going from corporate like I did and going into entrepreneurship, get back to your discipline. That's right? Going from being a pro athlete to a business, whatever transition it is in life. And I think it's also the same that you break down within your rhythm, which is even going from your profession to your personal life is a transition that happens every day, and you're putting discipline in that and intentionality.
That's right.
And I think as I'm listening, man, I don't want to steal this from you, but I feel like that's your superpower.
Yeah.
Like as I'm listening to you through this whole thing, man, you got a discipline and a work ethic that it's your superpower, man.
But I feel like you're right, and I feel like we all have that, right? And, you know, that's what I live by, is like 5 pillars. I feel like if we all do this and lean into them, we'll reach peak performance. And it's train every day, or I wouldn't say every day, but train. We're not created. We weren't created to sit in front of a television eating chips and junk all day.
Yeah.
You know, so moving, fuel correctly, and that's both with food, supplementation, all of that. The third is being mentally fit, which I call mental fitness, right? And that can be on any end of the spectrum. Impairment, dealing with anxiety, depression, or performance. I'm just a high-powered CEO. I just want more out of my brain. I'm a at-home dad, at-home mom, and I want to be phenomenal at home. The fourth is recover. So recovery is critical, you know, whether it's sleep, you know, taking care of bad back or bad knee. Like as an athlete, we understand how critical recovery is. And the last thing is tribe, and that's community, that's team. I've never met a successful person that got to the top by themselves, right? So like I take those 5 things and I time block those in. You know, that's what I do. So that discipline, it just it keeps me there.
I mean, well, damn. I think I have to end it at that note because, shit. I mean, those 5. You know what? Matter of fact, run that back, man. Run that back because you know sometimes I'm slow, and obviously my fuel is off. I done had some rum. Can you please name your 5 again? Because we need to put supers on this. Like this is something that we really got to take away because you just broke life down.
Yeah. So athletes are the healthiest people on the planet.
Yep.
Right. And like we have the playbook, we have the blueprint. A lot of people try to hack our brains and hack our approach to be successful. Silicon Valley, like they're out there trying to figure it out. How do we get in the zone like an athlete?
High performing teams.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And if you study the top athletes in the world, those 5 things are what we do. And then if you look at that compared to, you know, the best entrepreneurs, CEOs, leaders in the world, they do the same thing, right? You know, training, getting your ass up at 5 in the morning, you know, top of the morning, let's go. eating correctly, that's fuel. The third, so it's train, fuel, mental fitness. You got to have a plan on both ends of the spectrum,
All day.
because it's going to hit you. Anxiety, depression, just stress, bad day. What's your plan there? Meditation, mindfulness, talk therapy, group therapy. What is that? Performance, right? Like, how do I just get more out of my brain, go to another level? Then the fourth thing is recover, sleep, 8 hours a day. It's like steroids, man. If you consistently get 8 hours of sleep, it's like taking steroids, and there's so much. That's where we just, we grow and we rejuvenate. Like, the stuff that we took in a day that we need to trash, and we need to stay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last thing is tribe, community. Like, we need to, and we don't have these conversations. That's what I Am Athlete is.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I approach it. It's like, that's the locker room. Men, we don't talk. We don't do life with people. We just like, I got this, and we don't really.
Man, that is so special, and like, God, I mean, you dropped so much today, but that's certainly gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. I heard this statement from Rodney Williams, right? One of my brothers, another amazing entrepreneur, and he said, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm an athlete. So I'm mastering my fundamentals because I could play anything. And it's like, if you're an athlete and
I love that.
you can run fast, you can jump high, you got hand-eye coordination, you can probably play a lot of things.
Right.
What you just broke down is like how to be an athlete of your life. Like, if you can do those 5 things, you can accomplish whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's your 9 to 5, whether it's your relationship, right? Whether it's your business, all of that. It's man, that's incredible. I'm excited for House of Athlete. I'm excited for you and what you've built and what you're going to continue to build and how it's going to grow. Any way that I can be a part of it, I'm down. I'm always here. And I'm happy being a fan on the sideline. Like, when you're playing at the Jets,
I'm gonna need you. I mean, you years ahead of me, so it's gonna be a lot of questions I'm gonna have.
That is not true. I think like most things, you are moving incredibly fast. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go down and study.
I just don't want to make. I don't want to make any too many mistakes.
No, I think we all are making a ton of mistakes.
Well, let me ask you that. Let me ask you a question before we go.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
I'm in trouble. I ain't media trained.
So for a young entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
I think for me, man, it's resilience, right? It's grit. But what has gotten me through was falling in love with the process. I think I was too outcome focused, and I was so goal oriented that I didn't have the discipline to go through all the steps. I actually now love the mistakes. I look forward to the mistakes to go through so that I can improve. I love the grind and the fight, right? Like, I wake up ready to go. And a lot of what I had to learn was through my transition of corporate. And so I think everybody has a slightly different journey, right? But mine was, coming out of West Point and going into the corporate field, right, and leading these billion-dollar brands, and then going into being an entrepreneur. And I think I was trying to, one, unpack and get my schedule right and my rhythm, but it was not skipping steps. I was trying to skip steps, right? I was trying to overthink the game and thinking that I could outsmart the industry, and you can't. There's no shortcuts in business.
Wow.
You have to go through it, and you have to love it, actually, and enjoy it, right? You can't be a great athlete if you hate practice all the time.
Right.
Like, it's just not possible.
It can't work.
And so I started to fall in love with practice, and it's taken me a while. And so I say that to any entrepreneur is fall in love with practice, right? Be a student. But I think I'm going to take away the 5 pillars that you broke down, because that's part of that mastery, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a blueprint for all of us and in our mastery. So I've taken that note. Thank God it's on camera. So it's recorded. So now it's forever. And it's something that's going to stick with me. But yeah, man, that was my journey, right? Is just to understand that transition and fall in love with that process and remove the expectations of what I thought I could be, right? It was, even to go another step down, right? I think I had a lot of that imposter syndrome early on in my entrepreneurial journey, which was like, I expected to be these things, right? Like, and I saw them like, that's me, right? I'm as smart as that person, right? I can do that, and that wasn't their journey wasn't my journey. So I've learned to have so much love and respect and admiration for all entrepreneurs, anyone who wants to step out, because we're all made up differently. Our journeys are all going to be different, but part of what it is how we can learn from each other, how we can support one another, and just love one another, right? The humility of it, is something that I learned. And I think the final thing that I'll say on it, right, in my ramble, is for me, I had to learn to become a monster through my journey. I think so much of corporate, and especially being just a big black guy coming into corporate America, you're physically more intimidating. So you actually become more passive sometimes in your approach, because a lot of corporate is about being liked. It's about advocacy. And so you find ways to be liked, right? And you're a chameleon, right? And you do these things. And then you go into entrepreneurship, and it's about results. Nobody gives a fuck about being liked or any of that. And so that was one shocking, right? Transition, can't just smile your way through, Keenan, So it was a little bit of that. But then the difficulty comes, right?
But that's big though. Oh man,
it was rough for me.
That's why I use the example lion and sheep.
Yes, sir.
Because I want everybody to get along.
Yeah.
But then it's times you gotta be
the deal structure of business, you gotta be an animal, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's trying to win, and the game is just from a language standpoint, everybody's trying to fuck you over.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
It's people are trying to win, they're trying to get ahead, they're trying to feed their families, blah blah. It's what it is. Now, that's in the terms of the deal. Once the deal is made, and people then are on the same side or whatever it is, most people are happy at that point. And so what I had to learn was to become that monster in the deal process. Not take it so personal, but be a monster. Go get mine.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this phase of where I'm at is learning to control that monster. Because, sometimes when you let that shit out, you can get a little crazy. It can get rough. Your teams, all of a sudden it's hard to build a relationship. You're like, damn, you a real animal out here. And now I'm learning to control it, and it's that controlled aggression a little bit, right? To bring it back on the football piece. And that's where I'm at.
Bro, that's crazy. That's what I've been working on this year. So I had this this meeting with someone on my team, and I had to go there. I was just like, this is what I want, right? And I hate it because I'm like, yo, let's this is amazing. We're all doing. It's a privilege for even me to be a part of this, right? All of us. So I went there and I'm on a call. I keep talking about this executive coach. I mean, this dude. I mean, some of the top Fortune 200 executives he worked with. So anyways, I'm talking to him, and the dude's laying in the bed. I mean, he has his clothes on, too much information, but he has his clothes on. But then, I'm talking, he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, man, I had this conversation with this person, whatever. And he literally pulls out these two animals, like, see, this is your problem. You're this lion, and you've been operating as this sheep, right? And then he taught me this exercise. He said, here's what you should work on. It's, when you're in those moments, you lead with your heart, then your head, then your gut. I love you. You've done so much good for us, but I've shared with you 5 times, this is what I'm trying to do. Now you go to gut. If you don't change this, I'm going to have to let you go. Because, right? So heart, head, gut, right? And that's what I'm working on, because I can go I can go there quick. That's our
0 to 100,
quick.
real quick.
I'll be walking around for a day too, like, dang, why did I say that? Why I do that?
Yep.
But I mean, it's part of that process. But you know, it's interesting because that's where I'm at right now, man. Just trying to figure out how do I, you know, operate in that space.
Yeah, I found too that yeah, I know we were supposed to wrap, so my bad. But I love this part of it. Like, I find that anybody who is close to the CEO or close to the visionary, right, the top, the founder, the person taking risks, putting it all out on the line, they gotta have thick skin. Because I love what you said. I love what your coach said.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just gonna get a fucking monster. and honestly, they got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, they have to understand that that's what it is.
Right.
And that's how you got there.
Right.
So anybody who's a number 2, anybody who's on a lead team, look, you heard it from me.
Yeah.
Make sure you got thick skin.
Wow.
Don't come out here with all this soft shit sometimes in business. Like, I love it, but and I think too much we say all that and we think, you know, there's the public CEO, right, that is polished and amazing, right, and like a, you know, I sometimes call myself a cheerleader for my organizations, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But when the pressure's on, and you sitting in that room and it's big decisions and all, hey, we can try to do what you said, right? We can try heart, head, gut, right? And I'm gonna remember that, and I love it. Sometimes you just gonna get that lion.
You're gonna get that lion.
Deal with it, y'all.
Deal with it.
Learn to love it. Know it's coming, and know it's coming from a good place.
Right.
And I think that's another thing that you do is you set such clear vision. So I feel like even if you came at me like that, I know that it's because you're trying to accomplish. You're such a passion person. And so you're not doing it just to disparage somebody, right? You're doing it to try to achieve this goal, and they should have signed up for that.
That's right.
And you know, MJ talked about that in his in that documentary. It was hilarious. He's like, "This is what it takes to win."
That's right.
You know, he's not doing it just because he don't like people. He's like, "I'm trying to win."
Yeah. So, but we're so used to that because that's every day. The coaches, every day.
Whew, every film minute, sessions was
every
ugly.
Play, you got 70 plays, and every play they saying something. I love
Thick skin.
It.
Well, look, bro. I mean, thank you so much, man. I know you got to run. Y'all, just so y'all know, this brother it is late. He just flew in from the East Coast, so we are 3 hours behind. He is still up, charged. This brother works, man. He is putting it in, and you're about to go into another production meeting.
Oh yeah.
In a session. Man, I just thank you again. Thank your wife for allowing you to come out here too as well, because I feel like, you know, it takes a village, and your tribe is amazing. But man, just honored again that you would spend some time and drop some gems on us and teach me a lot of stuff that I know I will work on and study this film. Yeah. But let me give you, like I always do, the last word. Anything you want to share and say about your process, your journey of self-mastery, where you are, your tips, anything that you want to say. This is your word. This is about you, and we all appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, I would go back to the 5 pillars. You know, that's my mission.
Okay.
Yeah, the fundamentals of health. You know, embrace them so you can reach peak performance, train, fuel, be mentally fit, recover, and try it.
Oh, that's a whole word, y'all. Thank you again. Another episode of World's Greatest Game, man. Appreciate you, brother. Wow.
This is dope, man.
5 pillars. I gotta get on that one. I'm about to be on that shit right now. I was like,
this is dope, man.
We got to work on that recovery piece.